And just so everybody is on the same page here, and because there's a lot of people that think, oh, biblical illiteracy is a problem, and maybe I'm biblically illiterate. So Don and I have talked about this before. Biblical illiteracy is not knowing key facts and ideas about the Bible. That's why Don is saying you need to know those key facts and ideas in the Bible so that you know who God is and you know who Jesus is, and then you'll be able to live in light of that reality. And Sinclair Ferguson did a Q&A with Nathan Bingham at Ligonier, and he touched on exactly sort of the same points that you did, by the way. We need to get the gospel right, and then we need to remember when we come to faith in Christ, our justification is totally perfect. That Christ is, as you said earlier, he's truly sufficient. So our understanding of actually getting the gospel right affects then how we're going to live in light of the gospel. So Sinclair says it this way: so we need to get the gospel right, and we need to ask the Spirit to help us to appropriate the truth of the gospel. So we need to, not just get it right, but then we need to put it into practice in our life. And we see this in, a text like Colossians 3, Galatians 5, Romans 6 through 8. You could go on with the number of texts that, by the way, are commands. They're things that we're to do in light of understanding the gospel rightly and believing the right things about the gospel. That will affect, not just how we engage people, but to see God himself rightly. And I think that's when you talk about like the New Age or the New Apostolic Reformation, that's a big thing for people that are coming out of false teaching, because they're coming out of having teaching that doesn't emphasize God rightly, that doesn't honor God. It doesn't exalt the person and work of Christ. It instead exalts what this man or woman thinks about whatever it is. So they often, when I watch these guys and gals talk, I just think, did they just like pull that out of like a rabbit hat and just say whatever they wanted to say? Because I don't even know where they get half of the things that they say. And but there's enough, right? We've talked about this before. There's enough mixed into that. If we have to use the rabbit hat, there's enough in that rabbit hat that seemingly sounds good or is good, but then it's mixed in with air. If you prefer the smoothie, when you have a smoothie, like I like mine with strawberry banana. Don't shoot me, okay? That's just what I like. If you like a berry smoothie or a mango or whatever, that's fine. Now imagine putting something that tasted gross with strawberry banana. Whatever that would be for you. I'm not going to tell you what it is for me, but imagine that. But that's exactly what happens when a preacher or a teacher, they say some good things and then they throw in something, that's bad. It doesn't make sense, and people get really confused. But that's why people that are coming out with false teaching and other things like that, we have to emphasize, we have to get the gospel right, and then we have to help them understand and appropriate who they are in light of Christ.